Okay, so to give you context, Just Pearly Things has been invited on the Alex Stein show. Alex Stein, I think how you say his name. And obviously Pearl, much like a lot of other commentators, much like us, sometimes we make comments about people. There may come a time when we get confronted by one of these people. That just so happens to be what happens in this clip.
We wanted to bring on a colleague that you called a whore online, Sarah Gonzalez. She said she has a big opening and that you could throw a hot dog down a hallway. Is that how you described her?
I don't think so. I don't know what I said.
How did she describe her, Jimmy? As
Definitely not that.
Are you sure? They
They argued over age and attractiveness and all that fun stuff.
No, she insulted me. I just said 25-year-olds are hotter than 35-year-olds, and she really wanted to prove to me her hotness. So she just started sending me her selfies. I was like, wow, what a gal.
She's hot though, right?
You know, it's just not bad
What?
looking,
You don't think Sarah Gonzalez is attractive?
No, I don't think
She was on the Right Wing Beer calendar.
My
She's definitely hot.
God, she's hot.
I just think, I think it's weird when grandmas start tweeting their selfies.
She's not a grandmother.
No, I
she's
think
a
it's
mother.
I think it's weird when like old ladies start like tweeting.
Someone just get this girl off camera, please.
Since when was 35 old?
I know Pearl looks fucking over 35 and she's supposed to be like really young, so she needs to zip it. Secondly, I think Pearl just has been hanging around with too many men of a certain mindset, and she just is pick me. I think the same as you, and she just says whatever they say. Like where I'm basing this off is a lot of podcast episodes we've watched back in our early days, and it's always men having that sort of same conversation of once you reach a certain age, men aren't really interested in what they're interested in the younger girls, etc. Whatever. They don't look at you in the same light because they think, why are you this old and still single or whatnot? And it just seems like she is glued to that sort of mind state and just always wants to prove a point. Because I can get it, you're the best looking in your 20s. It's like your prime, I would say. But you could get a 25-year-old that is not as hot as a 35-year-old. But if you're comparing yourself, you're probably going to look... I don't necessarily think you'd look hotter at 25 than you would 35. It's everyone peaks at different times. You know, you'd have the really pretty girls in school and they grow up and they're not as pretty, or you have the ugly girls in school and they grow up and then they blossom. You know what I mean? I don't think it's a fact you can pinpoint.
Yeah, I think when they say it, they mean generally. It's just funny coming from Pearl, considering Pearl... I mean, Pearl shouldn't be talking about anybody's looks. I'm not saying that I'm the best looking person in the world, but... Pearl calling people names about how they look based on their age is a bit weird to me, considering she's in her 20s and she looks like she's been well past it for a long, long time. Sarah Gonzalez is way more attractive than Pearl and will probably be more attractive than Pearl when she's 50. And Pearl could remain this age. And most women that I know that are 35 plus are going to be more attractive than her.
I just think Pearl is on this high horse and she needs to jump off it, because
Pearl is someone that listened to Kevin Samuels and Patrice O'Neill and took their talking points and regurgitated them in a way that basically proved that she didn't know what she was talking about. She saw a gap in the market.
Yeah.
She saw these big black influencers who they were having a lot of conversations with black women, and Patrice O'Neill is like a legendary comedian that I wouldn't say like he's one of the forefathers of the Red Pill movement, but he definitely made talking points that they adopted. She just bastardized them. Kevin Samuels and Patrice O'Neill are individuals that, although they're quite contentious individuals and some people have their gripes with them, they were quite well respected, even though they had Red Pill talking points or were Red Pill adjacent. But what Pearl did is that she took what they were saying, didn't understand it properly, and just repeated it. And so when she gets called out on these things, she can't defend herself. Someone like Myron and the Fresh and Fit podcast, I believe Myron, and when he's saying what he's saying, I believe he believes that, and I believe he knows what he's talking about, even if I disagree with him. But I don't believe Pearl knows what she's saying half the time.
Amen.
When Andrew Tate is saying certain things that people disagree with, I believe Andrew Tate believes what he's saying. I believe Tristan believes what he's saying. When I would listen to Kevin Samuels and Patrice O'Neill, I believed them. Even if I disagreed with some things, I believed the words that were coming out of their mouth were genuine, and they were giving you their genuine perspective on things. Pearl is a grifter. Pearl took their talking points and ran with it. And fair play to her. She's got almost 2 million subscribers now. Even if she is demonetized, she ran with it. And she ran because she saw a gap in the market. She's obviously very business minded. She understood where the market was and where it was going, and she capitalized on it. Now, the red pill movement, from what I can see, has started to die off a lot. It's not as big as it was earlier this year and last year. There's still big proponents in it, like the Fresh and Fit podcast is still big. Even if they're demonetized on YouTube, they're still big. They're big on Rumble. But it's a lot of talking out of both sides of her mouth.
She takes stuff that she thinks is going to make her appear this certain way. And she is after being seen in a certain light, right? And I remember that time she went on Piers Morgan and he was like, some may call you the female Andrew Tate. And that's what she's trying to do. She's trying to become the female version of someone so big and powerful and wants to reach that level herself. But you're right, she's catching herself out because she doesn't actually always know what she's talking about. And she probably doesn't even agree with half the things she's saying. But I think as a woman, I think she should tone it down a little bit, because it's like you're literally out here just chatting shit about women all the time and putting women down. As a woman, like, I'm not one for girl power, feminism, all that stuff. But I still think that I disagree with a lot of points she makes. Naturally, I don't agree with a lot of stuff from the red pill community anyway. And I just think it's not nice to see coming from an actual woman. Like, imagine a black woman putting down black women. It's not nice. It's not something you would want to see. Do you know what I mean?
Well, the thing is that as a man, I can put down other men, but I need to do it in a way that is constructive and makes sense. Pearl attacks women on their looks and their age when she looks worse than them and is now older than a lot of them. She would attack you.
Yeah, but she just
has
puts
no
women
place.
down in every aspect
That's what
of
I'm
life
saying.
as well. And she acts like she's fucking...
She thinks she's a dog bollocks. But the problem with Pearl is that she attacks people whilst being the very thing that she's talking about. She's single. She has no kids. She's approaching 30. All the things that she says, like she talks about women have an expiration date on them. She is that very thing. She's pushed herself into a corner where I don't even think she can walk out of it.
She just tries to be controversial because she thinks that's the way forward, basically.
Yeah.
But then it's disingenuous.
Looking at me, their selfies. I don't get it. What? Don't you have
They're
like
trying
a
to
husband?
own you, though.
Well, don't you have like a husband and kids to like impress? Like, this is
the thing. This is in this.
So there. See, no. I want you to read this tweet.
Okay.
Where did I insult her?
Let me read it.
You're less
Oh,
attractive.
yes, you're less attractive at 35 than at 25 as a woman. This used to be common sense 50 years ago.
I mean, I guess in a way, technically, yeah, you're younger or whatever. But I think if you're fat at 25 and you get thin at 35, aren't you?
Yeah, but
hotter at 35?
but that's you ruining your youth. That's not like that's like you had the opportunity to be an 8 and you were a 4 because you were fat.
I mean,
Or whatever it is.
Yeah, I guess
it doesn't mean you're like, we see the wrinkles, we see the Botox, we see the lip filler, we see the pound of makeup. Like, no one's blind. I'm not even talking about her, but just in general.
Well, we got her to do a video question. Come on, let's play the question.
All right.
Hey Pearl, Sarah Gonzalez
Oh, you gotta
here.
look this one.
Unfortunately,
This one.
I wish that I could be meeting you in person. I'm told that you didn't want to do that in studio. So I thought that I would go ahead and ask you about your statement that 16-year-old minors are more attractive than adult women. Have you always been attracted to minors? Have you sought help for this? Obviously, this is a big problem, and I look forward to your response.
Ball's in your court.
That tweet is never going to leave her.
Yeah, do you know what? Like, when we done a YouTube short on this, didn't we? This tweet before, and I can't remember what I said or anything, but just digested it now. It's just outrageous that she would say such a thing, and it's outrageous how she could even believe those words of a 16-year-old being hotter than a 25-year-old anyway, or 26-year-old. Like, 25, 26 is prime anyway, like Pearl's saying. She's now comparing that to 35. And when you're 16, you haven't blossomed, you haven't grown yet. So how can you possibly be hotter than a 26-year-old
That's
who's
exactly
in
it.
their prime?
That's exactly it. One of the things that people find attractive about women is when their bodies blossom.
Yeah.
16-year-olds, they're basically just little boys. That
They
they haven't grown yet. That there's nothing going on. They're children. How can you say that even do you know what? Yeah, the thing that kills me about this tweet is that there was a moment in time, 1:57 p.m. on the 26th of July, 2023. Pearl had her phones in her hand, typed this out, looked at it, and then pressed tweet.
And said, yeah, that'll do.
Sick that you.
That'll do it.
Yeah, I don't even want to repeat it. It's such a disgusting thing to say. A 16-year-old is a child. A child. If you think that 16-year-olds are more attractive than 26-year-olds, you are, unfortunately, a pedophile.
Yeah.
Or at least you have pedo thoughts.
And if we're really going to take it there, I don't even think an 18-year-old would be hotter than a 26-year-old either.
No, of course not. There's eight. When I was working at the festivals last year, and I was at Wireless, I saw, like, they had, obviously the festivals are very young now, and there were 18-year-old girls everywhere, and I was like, they just look like kids.
They do, like, yeah, they're very childish.
Very childish.
Very
Like, they look
childish,
like
yeah.
they're still taking their GCSEs. They still look like they're in secondary school. And although they are legally over the age, they still look like children. Like, there was nothing in me that was like, oh, that she's nice. They're 18 years old. Even mentally, they're children. There's no 18-year-old women, generally speaking, even calling them women is a bit of a far cry, but 18-year-old girls, generally speaking, almost 9 times out of 10, because people are going to pull the Leonardo DiCaprio model thing out of their ass. 26-year-old women are better looking and more attractive than 18-year-old girls. I'm sorry, but you cannot be fresh and say that she's more attractive.
Yeah.
That's weird.
I don't know if it's because we're in the UK, but Pearl's in the UK anyway, but I don't know. The ones that Leonardo DiCaprio's pulled, them 18-year-olds, they do look a bit, they look a bit more older and mature.
They look like supermodels.
But that's because, he's finding them from a certain place, department, I don't know what you want to call it, job role, whatever it is. But I do think Americans and Brits are very different as well in the way that they look, carry themselves, act, etc.
I don't know, man. Anywhere I go, I'm not looking at 18-year-old girls.
Yeah, naturally, yeah.
I think anything below, like, because I'm 31 now, anything below like 24, 25, I'm just like, we're pushing it now. 7 years is a bit much. Ideally, I'd want her to be around my age. I can't see myself getting into, like, the thing is, you'll go out and you'll meet a girl that's like 23, 24. And if you're just like hooking up with them, I guess people are not going to have that much of an issue with them because 24-year-olds are generally quite developed. But a lot of these people in this red pill space talk about having these women and like getting them pregnant and having them as wives very, very young because that's the best time to get them pregnant, apparently. And I'm just like, when I see 18-year-olds, I'm like, do you really want to bed this individual? They still look like they're in maths, English, and science. It's just weird to me.
What do you say to that, Pearl?
Where did I say I'm attracted to minors?
I never said that. That's it. This is all allegedly. This is all in a video game on Minecraft.
Well, to be honest, I'll tell you what inspired that tweet, and I've talked about this before.
1.2 million views.
Yeah, no. It was basically that when I was 16, I was better looking than at 26. I was 26 when I tweeted that. So it wasn't based on anyone else.
When she was 16, she was better looking than when she was 26. Pearl, that's a you problem. Most 26-year-olds, if you look back on your 16-year-old self, you're going to look better as an adult. There's no way that you thought you looked better as a child, unless...
No, but there is that case of what I was explaining of, in school you had the really pretty popular girls that were really, like, all the guys fancied, but then as they got older, they just declined. They did not get fitter.
But do you know why that decline usually happens? It's the pretty girls in
They peaked
school.
too early.
In very rare cases, a lot of the time what I find is that when you get the really, really pretty girl in school that everyone's blowing smoke up her ass, she doesn't take care of herself. And then she gets pregnant, she eats really badly, she's on drugs, she's drinking a lot. Some of the pretty girls that I went to school with, some of them drank too much. And it shows. I ain't gonna name any names, obviously, but there's a couple of names that come to mind where I'm like, that when I was a kid, I used to think that girl was pretty, and now when I look at her, I'm like, time has not done you any favors.
I just think that this is all really contradictory, right? She's saying she looked hotter at 16 than she did at 26. As we've established, 26 should be your prime. Your 20s, I think from 20, 21 upwards to the end of your 20s is going to be your prime time, right? She's saying she looked hotter then than she did then. but she's also saying that a 26-year-old or 25-year-old is hotter than a 35-year-old. So is she trying to say that the way she looks now, which is not as hot when she was 16, is now she thinks that she looks better than 35-year-olds?
I think
Where is she going with this? I don't...
It makes no sense. Like, what she did is she sent out a ridiculous tweet to get a lot of views, and she got a lot of views.
Yeah,
it got viewed 1.2 million times, probably more. I don't know. This was obviously screen captured. But Pearl doesn't tweet because she believes things. Pearl tweets because she is an what do they call them? Energy vampires. Like, she's one of those, she needs the attention on her. Some people get attention on them organically or because people respect their viewpoints, and some people tweet very outrageous, bombastic things. Even look, people that I've respected or have respect for, like Jordan Peterson, for example. I have a great deal of respect for him, but even he's tweeted some things where I was like, come on, man. Like, you're intelligent. There's no way you didn't think that tweet was going to cause some sort of ruckus, and then to sort of like play dumb. And that's what's happened here. She has tweeted out something where she knows people are going to look sideways and be like, what the fuck? That's the tweet, apparently, that got her demonetized on YouTube.
Really?
Well, actually, I think that might have been one of the reasons. I think one of the other reasons was that she was interviewing an underage girl and talking about red pill things in front of the girl.
Do you know what? You can see that she still sees no issue with it, though, because they're bringing it up and she's just laughing and smiling and actually still giving responses to what they're saying.
Yeah, it's funny because the red pill community will continuously and endlessly talk about accountability. And look, there's no way that you tweet that and then you don't look back and go, wow, that was really stupid. Do you know what? In Pearl's case, let's give it 10 years. Maybe at one point she's going to acknowledge that she tweeted something dumb.
When she's grey and old and lonely and not popping no more.
She's not popping anyway. She's lonely anyway.
Well, if she's got 2 million, she is popping essentially.
Oh, I thought you meant looks was. Wait. She said that she was she based that on herself, but she used the word chicks. So she didn't say 16-year-old Pearl is blah 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 than 26-year-old. She said 16-year-old chicks, which means she's talking about other women.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Why can't you just take accountability for your BS? Just be like, listen, it was a dumb tweet. Do you know what? I would respect her way more. I think a lot of people would be like, all right, cool. She admitted it. It was a dumb tweet. It got me a lot of attention. In hindsight, I probably shouldn't have said it. My bad. All right, cool. There's no need to even talk about it. She's owned up to it, but she wants to double down.
You know, I think it's crazy. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, it's American Life Insurance.
Yeah, it is. So what are you trying to do with your life insurance?
Oh.
Chrissy, thank you for the $20 super chat.
Day. I've been drinking all day at work,
We'll
and
let
I
Pearl
just don't
know.
know what I'm doing.
But, you know, and even if you look at the obesity stats, there's more people at 26 that are obese. So,
Say that again?
even if you look at the obesity stats, more people are obese by 26.
Wow.
16 isn't a minor, by the way, so.
16 isn't a...
Oh.
Oh, Pearl, man.
Look, she always, the thing about Pearl, she will always throw stats out there to make it seem like she knows what she's talking about. The stats are completely irrelevant in this, and also it's completely contradicting her initial point of 25-year-olds being hotter than 35-year-olds. Now all of a sudden you're more obese at 26. Where is this? It's just not.
But she said 16-year-olds are not minors.
Is it because 16 is like the legal age to have sex in the UK?
Yeah, but I think everybody in this country knows that that's wrong. It should be 18. 16-year-olds are minors. We all know that. Everyone knows that.
Well, legally they are, yeah, because, you know, that's why until you're 18, you must have a parent/guardian for anything that you do.
Yeah, like our laws are upside down when it comes to that. Like, America is like, you can't drink or something until you're...
You can't drink until you're 21, but you can start driving at 16.
Yeah, even that's a bit like... You know, the laws should not dictate where you stand on that. We know 16-year-olds are children. We know that they're children. Even at 18, you're a teenager, yeah, but you're a very, very young one. You're very, like... I think the problem is that the naming convention makes people think, because it has teen in it, that they shouldn't be considered minors. But I'm sure if you had like an older guy rolling up on your sister, so let's say like a 34-year-old man, he can legally sleep with a 16-year-old in this country, right? But I'm sure if it was your sister, Paul, that a 34-year-old was rolling up on, you'd have something to say about it. She's not old enough to make those decisions, despite what the law might say. She's just not. Anyone that thinks that a 16-year-old is, there's a screw loose upstairs.
That's also like
Well, yeah, that okay. Come
What do you
on.
mean? So are you an
Come
Are you
on.
an
no, but it's funny. It's like disingenuous because women will do this, but why isn't she protesting the laws? She's just doing it to be catty. Go protest the laws then. You're so concerned, right?
Well, Sarah
Go
does,
do it.
Sarah does do
Go
a lot
do
of
it.
activism about like drag queen story time.
What's your plan?
Why does her protesting the laws come into this conversation? I don't understand. You made the tweet about 16-year-olds. If she protests the law and they change it, does that then make your tweet creepy? Are you saying that it's not creepy now because the law basically permits elders to have sex with minors? Like, I don't understand. Why do you've said that twice now. You said it on the Piers Morgan show and you said it here. It doesn't make any sense. I don't even want to watch any, like, Pearl creeps me out, man. There's something about her that makes me feel uneasy. Like, you ever watched like The Conjuring or The Nun? There's a scene when the nun is like at the end of the hallway and they come out of the bedroom and she's in the picture, like you can see her in the portrait, and then suddenly she just starts running to the camera. I don't know why. I always picture Pearl's face. Like, she has that face that is like perfectly made for horror films. Like, you see her stand in the dark and the shadows are hitting all the right spots. Anyway, I ain't got anything left to say about Pearl. Like, that is a...
She does it again.
Thing is, I don't feel bad about talking about her looks because she has spent years insulting women who are far more attractive than her and putting them down for being single when she's older than them herself, without children, without a partner. So I don't feel bad about insulting her. If you insult other people, but you're everything that you're insulting, I think that you should catch some corn. There's so many girls that have gone on her show that she's put down, and I'm looking at her and I'm like, why are you talking?